Hello and welcome to the Barely Floating podcast. Today we're talking about the adventure game Barely Floating, made by Stem Shock Interactive. My name is Ari and I am joined here by
Aki.
Yes, and we are going to talk about the pre-production of the game and how it all got started. So why don't you, Aki, introduce yourself and what you did in the game?
Well, I'm the project leader and I was a co-designer and I wrote some of it, most of it, and whatever programmed it and made graphics and animations. And
so you basically did most of the game by
basically
yourself.
killed myself. And I might if this podcast goes as well as it's going so far.
How long did the game actually took to make?
Well, we started in mid-February, so what is it, like 6 months?
Oh, that's pretty good.
Not full-time, obviously, but...
How many people were involved, all in all?
It was like 5 who actually made the game, and then some testers and other external folk.
Yeah. So, this is going to be the first episode. As I said, we're going to talk about the pre-production, and later on, episode 2, we're going to talk a little more about the production itself, what goes into the coding and scripting and graphics and all that. And in the episode 3, we're going to talk about music, maybe some more graphics and what's coming up for in the future. So, alright, let's take a quick break and then come back with the pre-production pipeline.
Hey, this is Aki from Stem Shock Interactive. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and send us email at stemshock@gmail.com. And buy Barely Floating along with other fancy games at summerbatch.co.uk.
Alright, welcome back. So why don't we go ahead and start with the how the pre-production got started, the initial concept of the game.
Well, this is actually sort of based on another project that I've been thinking about for, I think, over a year. And in the beginning of 2012, I was trying to make that game concept work somehow, but it was just too difficult. It was some sort of a time travel story. And then on January 29th, there was this post on the AGS forums about Summer Batch of...
What is Summer Batch?
Summer Batch is a collection of games made with AGS, Adventure Game Studio, and it's
bundle pack, basically.
Yeah, a bundle, and you can pay what you want for it. And it's going to be on sale for 3 months. And
like all in the bundle packs, people can decide what they pay for it. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think there's a minimum of
$50,000.
or was it £0.50? So.
Yeah. Cool. So anyway, there was a thread in the AGS forums about this bundle. What happened then?
In the post, they were looking for Screen 7, the company that's publishing the Summer Batch, was looking for game designers who would take part in the batch by making some game for it. And I decided, what the hell?
Yeah. That's always good.
This is more interesting, trying to make something that people might buy, so...
Yeah. So you took the stuff you were thinking about in the time travel game concept and decided to go with some of the ideas in the game you're going to make to the Summer Batch.
Yes, basically I took the main character, an old man with a cane, and decided to think of some place where the story would take place that was, interesting and not too big. So I came up with the idea of making it sort of a modern pirate adventure, like The Secret of Monkey Island and such, but, in modern times and modern pirates.
Yeah.
Or sort of weird people, but still a comedic adventure.
Yeah.
So it was set in the Indian Ocean, and the old man was one of the people who were kidnapped by the pirates.
Yeah.
And that was the initial concept that we started to think about and expand. And
was there people helping you with the pre-production?
I contacted my cousin Joni, who was the game's co-designer, because he was free most of the time, and I hadn't worked with him for a while. So.
Yeah.
And it's always weird sitting around with him and trying to come up with weird ideas, because they're really weird sometimes.
What was the weirdest that didn't make it to the game?
One I remember well is that there was supposed to be a puzzle where you had to navigate the ship and navigate by stars. So on the starry sky there would be star formation of Elvis pointing the way.
Nice.
But
too bad that didn't make it to the game. That would be awesome.
It went pretty quickly to the trash bin.
Damn.
It was just too silly.
Yeah. So you got just Joni help you with the designing the game. What happened next? Did you write the script for it, or how it went from there?
Well, we brainstormed, I think, for one meeting in the middle of February, and just came up with different stuff that we could probably use. And then in the next meeting, the same week, we went through those ideas and just tried to come up with some sort of a structure for the game, and where the different puzzles and people and weird things would appear in the game.
So how long did it take to get the structure and script together?
The structure came together, the very generic structure came together quite quickly in a couple of meetings, but then refining it and, designing all the puzzles and stuff, that took like over half a month. It wasn't full-time job again, and we just met a couple of times a week when we were able to. By the end of that, we had sort of a generic idea of what the game would be like, and then we started to gather the team and just design the puzzles more thoroughly. And
who came? You said you gathered more team around the project. Who came next?
Well, I contacted a couple of people I knew very well and who'd done similar stuff before. One was our assistant scripter Tommi, who helped us make the alpha version of the game. And then there was this couple of people, one of whom is with us today, who I asked to make music for the game.
Yeah, we'll talk more about it in the third episode.
Yes.
But yeah, and Joni was also another Joni. There's two Jonis in this production. Also, were doing the soundtrack with me for the game. You are known to push the boundaries of the AGS engine in your projects. Like in the game By the Numbers, you used facial motion tracking to do the dialogues of the characters in the game. Did you have any similar ideas or visions to push the boundaries again in this game?
Sure, I wanted to do plenty of stuff. One of the first ideas was to actually make the ship rock with the waves, make it a more dynamic environment. But that didn't work out quite so well in the end, so it's still moving, but not quite the way I'd wanted it to. And also there were supposed to be some more advanced lighting effects, like moving around the ship with some sort of a torch or something, and the light would actually change some part of the background into another lit version of the background, but that went away.
Was it just way out of the league from the engine point of perspective, or what was it?
Well, I didn't really try to finish doing that because I was running out of time pretty fast, and then the deadlines got postponed, but I still didn't have time.
Yeah.
And in the end, we realized that the Direct 3D plugin that I'd made, that I was going to use to make those effects, wasn't really working that well. So, yeah, time was the biggest issue.
But there still is some nice technical aspects to this game anyway. You know, if I understand correctly, this is the first 720p game made in HES. Am I correct?
I think so.
Ah,
probably.
So, yeah, we can.
At least no one said that it's not when I try to announce it as such.
Let's delve into the technical details more in the episode 2. Let's get back to the puzzles and the storyline for a moment. Which game's first, story or puzzles? And how do you design, a puzzle in a game? If you could give us, example from the actual game.
Well, usually the story comes first, but this time I made the decision to, get the puzzles right, because they're really hard to design afterwards and try to integrate them into the story. So we started thinking about the puzzles and then tried to come up with a story structure around them that would make some sense. So it's not a very story-driven game, but hopefully it's still fun and the characters are enjoyable.
Good. Could you give us some sort of example of, designing a puzzle?
Well, one of the puzzle ideas we had was some huge guy stuck in a doorway, just swollen to fill the entire thing, so you couldn't get into a room.
Yeah.
But then we had to design a puzzle around it. It's not very easy. We tried to think of ways to get him out of that doorway. Grease him up, or light a fire under him so he would float up. Like because his name was Herr Hindenburg. So it's.
So basically, it started with a wacky idea of a kind of problem in the main character's journey through the game, basically.
Yes, some obstacle.
Yeah.
And that's usually the way puzzles start. And we just were really stuck trying to come up with something. There was supposed to be a terrible stench behind the door, but we couldn't get to that puzzle first. And finally we decided to just get the damn fat guy out of the doorway and put him inside and deal with the stench first, and then try to get him away from the equipment in that room. It's a sad story. It would have been fun to see a guy just stuck in there and unable to move, but there you go.
Yeah. Were there any times where you realized that you were coding in a puzzle into the game and realized that it had to be redesigned?
Not really, but we had a playtesting session or multiple sessions with the alpha version of the game, and we found out that some of the puzzles needed a bit more thought put into them, so we redesigned some of them. Mostly the karaoke puzzle was a big problem for many people.
Could you tell us more about the alpha testing phase, how it went and what you were looking, from the results?
Well, the idea of doing the playtesting, this was the first time I actually had the chance to do one, since the earlier games I'd made were made in a week, so you don't really have time to test them. But the idea of playtesting is to try to figure out if the game design works at all.
Yeah.
And from most part, it seemed to work fine.
Good. So now we have we have you and Joni making the script and designing the game. Then you have had help with scripting from Tommi, and you have me and Joni, the other Joni, making music. So how is all this managed? How did you keep everyone up to date with changes, and how was the game going?
Well, we had a weekly meeting online where we shortly discussed the stuff that's been going on, what was done last week and what should be done this week and so on. And every member of the team had to report their work hours. So we knew that they were doing something. No, not really. I didn't look at them like that, but just so we could know at the end of the project how much time it took.
So did you use any other online resources in the pre-production?
Well, we used Google Documents or Drive later when it changed for the design document for the game, and lots of different things we needed to share between the team members, and of course the Google Calendar for letting people know when things were going down. And we also had a schedule for the game on Google Docs, so people could check out what's happened so far and what needs to happen, and that there's not enough time, basically. And also a very important part for the scripters, programming and stuff is the version control system, which we used the one provided by bitbucket.org. And
did it work well?
Yes. And there's unlimited space, so
nice.
It was useful since it ended up taking, I think, like 2 gigabytes in the end, since we had to store the binary there as well.
Yeah. So I think that about wraps it up for the pre-production episode of the Barely Floating podcast. Check out the episode 2, where we'll be talking more about the technical aspects of the game, and maybe I will be, learn to pronounce English by then, because, Anyway, check out our Facebook and follow us on Twitter, and, send us an email at stemshock@gmail.com. And what's more? Am I forgetting something? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Good.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah. See you in the episode 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ari from StemShock Interactive. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and send us an email at stemshock@gmail.com. And remember to buy the summerbatch at summerbatch.co.uk. Go now and don't be away.